The Toronto Maple Leafs just made their best decision of the season by firing head coach Sheldon Keefe. We're going to dive into the real reason the Leafs fired him on this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into it, gotta say, if you're one of the thousands of people watching these videos that aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure down below and hit that subscribe button if you're looking for a daily dose of NHL content here on YouTube. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video today, which is Leafs fire Sheldon Keefe. And I know a lot of you Leafs fans out there are happy this morning. You're doing your lottery dance because the Leafs finally fired Sheldon Keefe. And yes, if we look here on X, from BR Open Ice and many other platforms have announced that the Toronto Maple Leafs have fired head coach Sheldon Keefe this morning. We did get a comment from Brad Treliving talking about the firing, where he said, "Today's decision was difficult. Sheldon is an excellent coach and a great man. However, we're determined a new voice is needed to help the team push through to reach our ultimate goal," which a lot of fans have been asking for. Is exactly what Brad Treliving just said. They say, "We thank Sheldon for his hard work and dedication to the organization over the last 9 years and wish him and his family all the very best." And I really like this statement from Brad Treliving. Yes, it is a media statement. It is, polished. But hearing from the GM that they want to hear a new voice in the locker room is huge, and it has major implications for the future, because I have been very vocal here on the channel about Sheldon Keefe and how I find that he, doesn't really have the room. They need a voice in there to be like, "Come on, let's go. We need to win this game. It's a do or die game. Game 7, we need to win this." You need to fire up the boys in the locker room. But you have Sheldon Keefe saying, "It's game 7. Let's go have fun." And when you have that, kind of mindset going into the game 7 of the playoffs against probably your biggest rival in the Boston Bruins, it doesn't really fire the team up as much as you want it to. You know what I'm saying here? Like, I just think that Sheldon Keefe, he is a great coach in his own right, but I don't think he's suited for this Toronto Maple Leafs team, and that's why he's gone. That's why they fired him, because obviously he hasn't been able to get it done, and they just need a new voice. I think they need a more stricter coach in the ranks. It's just my personal opinion on it. I think they need a coach that's, say, going to hold their star players accountable for their actions. And that's not what we've seen with Sheldon Keefe over these last 5 years. I think they need a coach that's going to come in right away and say, "Hey, whoever it is, say Mitch Marner, they're like, 'Hey, Mitch, you haven't been playing that well over these last couple of games. We need you to pick it up, buddy. Like, you're one of our best players. We need you to step up here.'" And this is good for players. It's not reaming a player out. It gives them that extra boost to, try to get to that next level, to try to get into a new gear and try to, prove your coach that, yes, you are one of the best players on this team. And I think this a fresh face and a fresh voice could really, really help this Toronto Maple Leafs team out. But we're going to get into the real reason why the Leafs fired Sheldon Keefe, and we're just going to take a look at his record here. And obviously, regular season success was great while Sheldon Keefe was in Toronto. His first year there, they finished 3rd in the Atlantic. Then they finished 1st in the North. This was COVID season, I believe. And then 2nd in the Atlantic, 2nd in the Atlantic, 3rd in the Atlantic. And yes, the Atlantic Division is tough. So finishing 1st when you have teams like Florida, Tampa, Boston, Detroit, Montreal, Ottawa, Buffalo, all these different teams, it's going to be tough. But they did do it once during the COVID season, where it was just the Canadian teams, I believe, in that division. But they have been right up there. They were 3rd twice, 2nd twice while Sheldon Keefe was there. So regular season success isn't what you need to question here. In the regular season, he went 212 wins, 97 losses with 40 OT losses. So a positive record in the regular season. But if we switch gears to the playoffs here, we see in 2020 they lost in the qualifying round to the Blue Jackets. Then in 2021 they lost to the Canadiens in the first round when the Canadiens came back 3-1 on them. Then in the next year they lost in the first round versus Tampa Bay. Then the next year they lost in the second round, finally getting past the first round. Then just to lose to the second round to the Florida Panthers. And then this season, everybody knows they lost to the Boston Bruins in the first round in 7 games. And this is the real reason why Sheldon Keefe does not have a job with the Toronto Maple Leafs anymore. He cannot get it done in the playoffs. Yes, you can say that about the players as well, because they can't get it done in the playoffs as well. You can't blame it all on the coach for their lack of success in the playoffs, but a lot of it does go on to him, because if you're in a game and it's not working out, you need to be able to switch stuff on the fly. You need to be able to spark something within your team to try to get them to win a game, and we've seen that fail in the first round for 4 years and then the second round for 1 year. So it's just a testament to why they fired him, is because they can't get it done in the playoffs, and maybe with a new coach they can get it done. I think with a new coach they will get it done, because they just need someone in there who can adjust on the fly and outcoach their opponent. Because one thing that I've noticed with Sheldon Keefe is he gets outcoached a lot in the playoffs. I don't know if it's the stress of the media, if it's the stress of the fans, or whatever it is. It just seems to me that Sheldon Keefe gets outcoached in the playoffs, and that is why he is not with the Toronto Maple Leafs anymore. And they need something new here. They got a great team. They have a great core in Marner, Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, Riley. They just need someone who can coach them to be better players. And this is what they need to be a successful team in the NHL. Because even as a Montreal Canadiens fan, it breaks my heart to see all these Leafs fans go through this year in and year out. Multiple of my friends, my family, are all Toronto Maple Leafs fans, and they are numb to the pain of playoffs loss. So they need someone to come in and say, we need to do this for the city, we need to do this for our fans, and just go out there and give it your all. Because obviously they're going to do it in the regular season. It's been proven year in and year out. It's just once they get to that first best of 4 series, or best of 7 series, they lose every single year, and every Leafs fan is upset with it, and I can see why. They just need someone to come in, switch the game plan, be able to switch the lines, not be afraid to put John Tavares on the third line, not be afraid to move Mitch Marner down the lineup if he's not playing good. They need somebody who will do this and who will hold players accountable. And this is why I think this is the best decision that the Toronto Maple Leafs have done all season long. Because obviously, a lot of the time, this is, like I said, the losses and everything get put on the coach. When it goes on the coach and the team, it should be that. It shouldn't just go on the coach. But in this instance, you've had him for 5 years. You haven't seen any playoff success besides getting past the first round. Something needs to change, and that is what happened today. They Sheldon Keefe, or they fired Sheldon Keefe, and are looking for a new head coach. And this was the perfect decision by the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I really hope, for Toronto Maple Leafs fans' sake, that this changes something. I really hope that next season, with a new face behind the bench, they will finally be able to push past the first round scares and even the second round scares and try to get to the Eastern Conference Final for the first time in a very, very long time. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on just Sheldon Keefe firing down below. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down below in the comment section. Love hearing from you guys. But I'm briefly going to talk about what's next for Sheldon Keefe. And yes, we've seen multiple reports come out before his firing saying that the San Jose Sharks were very interested in Sheldon Keefe. And despite everything I've said in this video, I do, like I mentioned earlier, I really do think that Sheldon Keefe is a good coach. I think just the Toronto media, the Toronto fans, and are just fed up with the lack of playoff success. And I think it all goes back onto Sheldon Keefe every year. I think he's a great coach. I just think, getting him out of Toronto and getting him into a new situation is really what he needs as a coach and really what the Toronto Maple Leafs need as a team. So taking Sheldon Keefe and maybe putting him in the San Jose's behind San Jose's bench, which is probably going to happen, is going to be good for his career. He's going to start with a young team. He can build this young team up how he wants, implement his own style to this team, and I really do think that this will revitalize Sheldon Keefe's career and give him a more reputable status within the entire hockey world as a head coach. I think a fresh start for Keefe and a fresh start for the San Jose Sharks will really help each other out and benefit each other. And I think that with Sheldon Keefe going into such a young team, he'll be able to shape this team the way he wants them to play hockey. And I think it will be very beneficial for both sides in this deal or in this potential signing. And I just really like it. I think that Sheldon Keefe, like I said, is a great coach. I just don't think he works in the Toronto market. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you think's next for Sheldon Keefe? Let me know down below in the comment section. We're going to get everybody's favorite topic here on the channel, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to the birdie. He says, I like the Kent Johnson plus 4th overall pick best trade for Mitch Marner. He says, first and foremost, try to flip that for a top two-way D. If unavailable, no problem. Lots of intriguing D available near the 4 spot in the draft. And yes, yesterday we did talk about potential Mitch Marner trades and what his value is looking like right now. And, there was a lot of interesting trade options. I know a lot of you guys disagreed with the trade options that were put forward, but what you need to take into account here is that Mitch Marner has a big contract, and they can't, ship him out for a top star because he needs to re-sign with that team. Like, you could send him to whatever team and he could not sign an extension. That still plays a factor. But I do think that most of the trades that we put forward yesterday is something similar to what we will see if they do decide to trade Mitch Marner. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road for 3,500 subscribers here on the channel. And if you don't want to miss out on anything that's happening around the NHL, make sure down below and hit that subscribe button. Also, while you're down there, leave a comment on the video. You might be featured on the next comment of the day. And if you want to check out that Mitch Marner trade video we did yesterday, it'll be popping up on your screen right now. But as always, I've been your host, KC. We'll catch you in the next one.